So in lieu of high pressure cleaning, it's air pressure cleaning and vacuuming. So yes, unfortunately that's the way it is. But looking at it, the car, the paint protection is working absolutely magnificent. This water's just dripping off it like a champion. Alright. Okay, so welcome to Tomato Industries Detailing, and yeah, I've been forced inside, getting a lot of rain at the moment. So I've got an interior to do of a Mazda, I think it's a CX-5, and I've just got the mats out. So just have a look. You can see we've got debris, little rocks, stones, twigs, leaves, mud. We have some mud in here also. So these are looking fairly dirty, and you can also see these ones here. This one's probably the best of the lot. Unfortunately they were kicked up under the seats in the front, so they're sort of a bit misshapen at the moment. We've even got some hair here by the looks of it. More mud and more mud. So passenger and the driver side. So just to give you an idea, this one here looked very similar to this one here. So just by shaking this one, we've removed quite a bit of the dirt off it. So that's the first stage with cleaning mats. Give them a good shake. And from there, what we're going to do tonight is going to give them a good vacuum and see how much that gets off. And I'm also going to, actually just before I vacuum, I'm going to use the air compressor and see how much of this stuff I can get out of here with that. I'd probably rather do this outside because I'm going to get some dirt in the garage, but that's the way it is at the moment. I've got too much work, not enough time because it keeps raining, so I've got to resort to actually coming into the garage undercover and doing it. The tools for said cleaning job will be a variety of tools. So we've got the vacuum, the Mealy, very good vacuum. These ones, they're, you know, probably not up to the pneumatic Georges or all that, but they're very light, especially this model, the S6330. They claim this is what they call the granny model. So it's actually a little bit smaller than your general Mealy and lighter for the old grannies to drag around, but it's just as powerful. So, pardon me. This is my second one. The first one lasted over 2 years, daily use, and is now the house vacuum. And after the warranty ran out, I bought this one. And this is probably a year old now and going strong. So we've got various tools. One of the tools I like most to use is just without any nozzle at all. So just get him down on here and work him over. That's the most powerful. Once you start adding nozzles, you know, you're adding more distance between the hose and the suction. So we've just got your general crevice tool, about 6 to 8 inches long. I've got one that's probably 12 to 14 inches long, which will be of no use now. I also fashioned this one myself, where I cut one down. Compared to the other one, you can see the difference there, because it's a lot shorter, more powerful, and just your regulation upholstery brush. This one, you know, this was a genuine Mealy, right? And in Australia they cost about 30, we're in their 20s at least, late 20s to 30 bucks. Now if you use these things extensively and push down on carpets and everything, they last about a month and then they start going like this. I've got another one in my bucket of things just here, where you can see after a couple of months use that she is now getting that flat look to it. So you can see that side, that's how it started, but this side's all flattened out. So they don't last long, which is a bummer, seeing they cost 30 bucks. So I've got various other attachments. That's a horsehair one. And this is another cheap after model one. So they're not too bad, but you can see the difference between the Mealy, a lot of brushes, bristles, and very sturdy made. Compared to this, you can feel the difference. Much lighter, a lot less bristles. So The good thing about these is because it's such a large hole in there, there's very good suction with them. Anyway, so I've got the air compressor there, the Ryobi. This is my nylon brush. We'll give them a good scrubbing over with. And then to get all this out. Now generally how I do this is I hang the mats up on the wall, get my my high pressure cleaner out, and away I go. And I swear that would get 90% of this stuff out, not a problem. I'll probably put some super degreaser on it first, then I would scrub it and then use the high pressure unit. But because it's pissing down with rain all the time at the moment, I'm just going to have to go on without it. So we'll see what sort of results. After I've done the basic cleaning of them all, getting all the grit and dirt and crap out of it to the best of my appliance's ability. And there you'll see we've got a very good worn through patch just there. So once again, videoing everything makes a detailed record of any damage to said match, and I can guarantee you this is a ladies match. That is done by the high heels. Right, then we'll be moving on to the shampoo extracting machine. This one here being a Kerrick. Not a bad unit. I've had some problems with the pressure switch and a few other things, but all in all, it's not a bad unit. They have a much stronger unit. This is supposed to be a wet vacuum also, and dry vacuum and extractor. It's probably not the cheapest one they do. It's probably one up. I think they've got another one above this. This one was 14. What was it, 1,450? I got it on sale for 1,150. I like it as a shampoo extracting machine, even though it does come with your regulation longer wands, so you can actually do carpets. It's got a carpet, interior carpets inside your house. To me, there's just not enough suction in this unit, and also because the suction's not great enough as a vacuum, it lets the team down. Also, that thing is a lot more powerful than that. And I don't know, it's got a 3.5 metre hose, I think it is. Might even be 4. So, oh, there it is. There. You can see him twisting and snaking its way around there. So it generally loses, when you get hoses this big, if you don't have a very powerful machine, it loses a lot of its suck capabilities. So that will come out, and I'll be using just the fabric rinse cleaner I use. So after, I will give them a going over with the super degreaser and the brush, and then I will use the suction to pull that out, and I'll be using what's called Fibre Safe. So this is a carpet and upholstery rinse. So it's good for light work, and it's also good for when you've used a heavy duty cleaning product, such as Surge that I've got back there, which is made by the same company, or Sensation, which is a protein detergent. Good for blood spills, milk, all that sort of stuff inside cars. Or even the super degreaser. This stuff is very good to get that out, and as you see, it works well on urea and complex calciums, iron salts, preventing grey crystalline. So it's good for that, and it's not a bad cleaner on its own right. And to be honest, you can this stuff you can use on leather. I've tried it on leather before, and it works fine. All right, so I'll just now that we've discussed all the tools, what I'll do is I'll set up the camera. Hopefully, I'll get this done, and then we're going to give the mats a shake, air hose, vacuum, scrub it dub with the super degreaser, extract that out, and then use the Fibre Safe. That's the system we're going to use, and it's always good to have a system. Okay, so I'll come back soon and give you a look what's going on. Okay, so here we are. I have the mat set up. I moved them right down to the next to the door. I don't want to open the garage door because the neighbours will complain about the air pressure unit. So I've got them down there. So I'll just take you off the, I've got my tripod going, very professional at the moment. And we'll have a look at just the other thing you probably need, just one or two of these to attach the mat to the table. I love getting the mats off the ground to a height where I can work on them easy. So I might be able to do this and film it. So I've got my brand new Bose QC35 noise cancelling wireless headphones on. I'm not sure how they'll go with cancelling the noise of the air compressor in a confined space, but I'll try. We will see. So there you can see the extent. We'll now apply some air. Now, the only issue is you could probably need a much stronger air compressor, 150 litre, and pressure. So I can see a lot of stuff and stuff flowing off it. So it could be good just to make the rack a little bit easier. So yeah, it's not too bad. I think most of it will come out in the vacuum stage, but that has done a little bit. So God bless it. And this is the dirtiest mat. It's struggling against the harder, more stable stone, but this is really the best I've got. Alright, so do that. I'll just put on pause until this thing fills up again. Okay, so the tank is finally filled up. And alright, so in my opinion the next stage is with a nylon brush. So I'll give this a good brush. We'll have a look and see just how dirty it is. And then I'll come back and I'll show you how I went with that and the difference it's made. Okay, so you can see that, you know, it's got all the surface mud off, so I think it's a worthy stage, and never underestimate what just a nylon brush can do to help you in cleaning the mats and the vacuuming also. You know, I didn't get the deeper stains out, but once you're in preparation you can see all the debris that it's dislodged around the table. So there's still quite a bit in there. Next will be the vacuuming stage, and I'll come back and show you that. Okay, so just vacuumed. I used the short crevice nozzle, and once again, it's slowly getting better. So the next stage will be the degreasing stage, and more brushing, and then we'll come back and have a look at how we've gone. I don't expect this around here to get, it'll get a bit better than that, but it's not going to, this area here, once mats get to this stage, it's very difficult to get this out. But anyway, we'll give it a go. Okay, so next stage, I'm just using the Nylex spray pump to spray some degreaser around. They're not bad, these things. I personally wish they'd have a bit more pressure, but it's sort of good as it gets. I've pumped this thing up quite a few times. So I'm not looking to saturate the mats, just get a good light coating of degreaser. I'm going to leave it on there for a few seconds, hit it with the brush, and then get the shampoo extraction machine out. So just make sure. So I've attached this here, so when I brush, the mat doesn't run around. I'll probably put another one here, and then come back and do the shampoo extraction. Okay, so here we are at the finished product. These are probably the two dirtiest. This passenger side one. And the driver's side. And you can see these videos come up all pretty good. This one here just might have a little bit of dirt, might need a little bit going over. And this one here. Now, I'm not sure which one it was, but I've had issues with this machine where all of a sudden in the middle of its working it stops shooting out the detergent product, and you know, I have to fiddle around with it constantly to get it to keep going. It does it for a while, then it cuts out again. I just think the pressure units in these are cheap. Anyway, what are you going to do? But yeah, I've had problems with it once again. And I can't remember which one it was, but one of these, I wasn't able to use the detergent out of here. So I sort of put some more detergent on it manually, and then scrubbed it and just used the vacuum, the upholstery nozzle to suck all the water out. So these are still damp, but you know, they've come up pretty well. Pretty happy with that. And from standing, you know, as a customer probably will, at this distance, they are mighty clean. So alright, that's done. Got to dismantle everything now, get it back in, and so let's see, the Ryobi air pressure unit, it didn't go so bad. It didn't actually get all the mud and stuff out. I think if you really want to do that, you got to spend $400, $500, $600 and get something that really blows. You know, as I said, that's a 50-litre tank. This one, let's have a look at it. It's a 2 horsepower, 50-litre direct drive, max operating pressure, looking around 8 bar, 115 psi. So you can read the figures there. Free air delivery, 120 litres per minute. Max air delivery, 190 litres per minute. So I find this good for blowing out pads, and I find it good for blowing out under the rails of seats and against the edges of door trim and that. Very good. It's got other good uses. But once you get to mud on mats, it's a little bit beyond this fella. Other than that, she works pretty good. The Kerrick, when it's working, I will say I really like this machine. Unfortunately, it does have a habit of playing up. It's mainly around the pressure switch, I feel. And some of the valves, I think, are probably getting a bit worn. I've had this for about 3 years now. And once it loses that little bit of pressure, that's it. The switch won't actually activate and hold the pressure. So what happens is once it sets itself, the pressure machine builds the pressure up, you turn that green button on and it gives out a fairly decent rumbling noise, we'll just call it, I can't for a better word, and then you know it's working. It's sort of like and then when the issue happens, that noise, and when the machine's running, it just drips, very slightly drips water out of the nozzle up there, the yellow nozzle. So it's only barely dripping out, like when you're at the end of your piss. And I think the noise of the machine running here drops down by probably about 70%. So it's better go like that. And there's the issue. It's just not resetting itself. It's catching or something. I'm not sure. But when it's working properly, that's an awesome machine. And unfortunately, I didn't grow up with a mechanical background. I don't know much about all this stuff. So I would like to be able to say, oh, this is what it is, and this is how you fix it. Unfortunately, that's what my mates are for. They come and tell me these things. But unfortunately, number 1 mate doesn't live around this area anymore. Number 2 mate has now got 3 kids and a girlfriend. And number 3 mate, he's got a kid and he's a single father now. So yes, unfortunately, my mates have no more time for this sort of thing, and it's just left to me. So I do the best I can. Anyway, as I said, I think these are more than adequate for the cleaning level that this car is going to have. So happy with that. And anyway, I'll see you next time, and hopefully this rain will stop and I can get out and do some work. Ciao. Okay, so welcome back to Tomato Industries Detail. Just in the office here, doing some editing. of the videos, and I was thinking about the time it took me tonight. So generally to do mats like that, I would, especially in summer, on a nice summer's day, and sometimes even in winter, on a fairly warm winter's day, I could peg them up to the fence. I'd give them the initial brush with the nylon brush, then I would spray super degreaser on them, and then I would go back in with the nylon brush and then hit them with my high pressure water cleaner. And believe me, that does a very good job. There's only a few times where it doesn't get all the stains out. If it doesn't all get it out, and unfortunately you don't really find that out till near the end, I have to then get the shampoo extractor out, because once they dry they reveal things that you can't see when they're wet, just the way it is. So I'll get the shampoo extractor out and get rid of those last stains. But in my experience over the 5 years, the high pressure, that method, just doing it with the high pressure cleaner, gets the stains out 90% of the times. Whereas tonight, a little bit different. So we went with the air hose first. I blew a lot of dust and mud, a lot of dust and debris out of the mats first. I just wanted to see how the high pressure air hose went, and it didn't do too bad. It's probably what you'd term medium in strength of air hoses. It couldn't get the ground in mud out, but it got a lot of the other stuff out. And also just brushing the mats with the nylon brush dry, that got a lot out also. As I said in the video, you know, don't ever underestimate the vacuuming or just the brushing. And then vacuuming the mats after that, and then spraying the super degreaser on, and brushing that in, and then finally with the shampoo extraction machine. So unfortunately the shampoo extraction machine played up a little bit, and the whole thing took me at least an hour with the videoing and having to muck around that silly machine. So I reckon on from setting up my high pressure water cleaner, pegging the mats up, scrubbing them and all that, scrubbing them dry, then scrubbing them with the super degreaser, then hitting them with the unit, it's maybe 20 minutes to half an hour. But tonight there was a lot more phases to go through, using all those different things. There's a setup time, and at least an hour. So it's much more time consuming doing it that way, I found. So it's not something I'd normally do. I just wanted to see what level, like the end result, I was just as happy with. The mats were very nice and clean, but they were very nice and clean when I do it the other way. So it's just that, once you wet them as much as you do when you use a high pressure cleaner, even though they're not quite as bad as if you put a hose on them, they still get wet. So they're dripping, but as I said, in summer they're dry. Because some of the details take 6 hours, maybe a bit more in summer, the bigger jobs. And if it's going to be less and the mats are still going to be wet, especially with the loop synthetic carpets, man, those things dry in half an hour. So they just flash dry almost, from soaking wet to dry. Well, maybe not soaking wet, but they dry quickly. The carpets have got real material in them. They take a bit longer. But I don't think I've ever had a problem doing it with the high pressure unit and having still wet mats at the end of the day in summer. So yeah, time wise, that is definitely the way to do it. But tonight I just wanted to go through it and see how it went. Anyway, I hope you're well, and see you again later.